Hello and welcome. I am Laura Cragen, an intuitive eating and latter-day life coach. This podcast is for women who want to ditch diets, find body acceptance, and discover food freedom. As a fellow woman who wanted to lose weight for years, I know how it felt to be trapped by diet culture and at war with my body. Through my own hard work and struggles, I finally found a solution that helped me break free. The plan to get there: intuitive eating coupled with life-changing lessons of mindset overhaul and the gospel of Christ. I promise that as you follow these things I teach you here in this podcast, you will find happiness, peace, and most of all, freedom from the war with your body. So let's jump in. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm so glad to be here again after taking a break to finish my hard projects that I have been working hard on for a long time, and I would love to share that with you today. But before we go into that, let's talk about the one reason why you are here. It's maybe because you have heard of intuitive eating but feel overwhelmed by it. Because it's hard to trust yourself and start something so different than your past. And many of you here have tried so many diets, possibly, and you have had constant body shame. I know I have. And you're frustrated because nothing ever worked, and you don't trust yourself, or you feel even worse after the diets. But you may try a new diet and you think to yourself, maybe this one will work. And it is devastating because that new diet fails. I know I was right in that position at one point as well, over and over again. And you're back to where you were before, and you're still obsessed with your weight, and you see the number on the scale creeping up more than ever before. And it takes a major hit to your self-esteem and body image. Major hit. And there are so many rules to what you do with food. It's over those years of dieting, it has caused so much stress and anxiety with your food choices. And I remember thinking to myself in my head, will the points, macros, or calorie counting ever stop controlling my mind? And lastly, there has to be more to life. It's over all those hours of meal prepping or working out and entering into MyFitnessPal. How can you really have time to enjoy the precious things of life that God has given us? And I'm confident I found the secret. And that it's when I found intuitive eating. And I think you probably knew that was coming. And it really is a compassionate way to finally heal your relationship with your food, your body, and your mind. And now I'm on a mission to help other women who are drowning in the deep waters of diet culture to find ultimate peace with themselves for good. So, and at one point, as a story about me, at one point I was right where you are. I had tried so many diets and I was being at war with myself all the time and feeling empty. And I had hit what is called diet rock bottom. And dieting never worked and was never going to work. And there was a deeper problem. And I hated my body and my mind was sick. And I knew there had to be a better way to live life. And the Spirit pushed me to find an answer. That was when I found the life-changing principles of intuitive eating. And through my journey of depression, suicidal ideation, and eating disorders, and going through a whole month-long treatment center, I needed to overhaul my relationship with my food and with myself. And through much struggle and work, I found hope and healing, and I am now at peace with myself and food and feel like I'm living the life I was meant to live. And it is an honor to coach other women who are on this same journey, like I've said, and so they can have a fulfilling and healthy life and be better disciples of Christ. And it's wonderful to see women change and to feel better about themselves. So just think about for yourself for a minute what it would be like if you were at peace with yourself, your body, and food. What would that be like if you were at total peace with yourself in those areas? So let's learn a few of these key principles of intuitive eating before I get to my big announcement here. Let's start with rejecting diets for good. This is a paramount part of intuitive eating is rejecting the diet mentality. And our culture is permeated with diet rules and seeing bodies as objects. Social media and shows and the news, magazines, and even in our conversations with others. But this ideal that we must all be one size or close to it is unreasonable and damaging to our physical and mental health. And it is imperative first step and have this as a first step to reject this mentality so we can move forward, stitching ourselves back together little by bit to come home to ourselves. A third part to intuitive eating is knowing when you are full and hungry. And how do we do that as busy women? We have to listen to our body signals tell us when we are no longer hungry. And we first have to get rid of those barriers, though, that keep us from experiencing fullness. We're really busy, right? How often do we really eat without checking emails or walking around the kitchen or looking on social media? Intuitive eating helps you learn just that. And lastly, coping with your emotions without food. This is a big one. People love to talk about this and figure this out, but sometimes they go about it the wrong way because our emotions are messengers. They are not enemies. When these hard emotions arise, we might be in a pattern of coping with our emotions with food. And this is a critical moment, and it's when you could choose to be in attunement with yourself. And attunement, as a definition, is at the root of it is being in tune. And we must nurture this ability in ourselves to be in touch with what is going on in our body. And in those moments when you just want to eat the whole box of Oreos, ask yourself, what is out of tune? What self-care or self-compassion practice do I need to engage in to feel better and to honor my body? So think about those for yourself. If you need to pause this now to just think about that, do it. What is out of tune for me right now? So with the principles of intuitive eating, you can feel healthier without the wasted time that diets bring to you, and without that wasted energy. I know I spent tons of extra energy over years and years on diets, and also definitely without that stress and anxiety. And here is just even a little more about intuitive eating. And it is also about exercise as well. So it's not just about eating. It's imperative and part of this whole modality. And when we choose what your favorite ways to move are as we go through intuitive eating, you will start doing them and understand this is a way for me to feel good and to have fun in my body as well. And it doesn't have to be about that hardcore workout we felt like we always needed to do before, right? Or a second thing of intuitive eating is there are not going to be any more food police for you. This food police is the incessant dialogue in your head, if you've ever heard of it before. And it's what dieting has created. It's these rules that must be obeyed. So now it's pretty ingrained in our minds, the food police. And we learn mindset skills on how to combat these tiresome thoughts, because it's tiresome just to constantly have that in the background of your mind. Every time you go to eat, we eat at least 3 times a day. But we find a better and healthier inner dialogue instead. Next is we will figure out what foods you love, and we start eating those foods right away. Meals and individual ingredients, desserts, foods you loved as a kid, all things that are delicious to you. And I teach you ways to have these foods in your life again. And you may even already have them in your life right now, but definitely also not mentally be depriving them. You might still be eating them, but to mentally let yourself still have it. And lastly here, we need to respect our body, and that's part of intuitive eating. And you're born with your unique DNA, and it will not deviate from it. So it's time to give it respect instead, and we learn how to come home to ourselves, like I've said, and give our body the much needed love that we need. And Life is just so much easier and lighter and happier when you become an intuitive eater. And there's just so much more to it, even more than what I'm saying here. It's beautiful. And what I'd like to introduce to you guys now that I've been working on for so long, it has been such a fun time to do this whole workbook. And it is my Latter Day Intuitive Eating 14-Day Workbook. I've been working on it since April this year. It's my first product in my business that I have now launched. And it is a simple and beautiful day-by-day workbook to help you start intuitive eating. And in just 14 days, I teach you how to finally ditch diets and to find body acceptance and discover that food freedom. It's hands-on and it's easy to learn those 10 principles of intuitive eating. I knew people were looking for a simple way to finally have this a part of our life, and I have created that for you. So let's talk about what's included. Oh, it's been so fun to have this, and there's just really so much in store for you here. So first of all, it is those easy teachings of intuitive eating. You learn those 10 principles without the overwhelm, and I've condensed each day into just one page of learning for the principle of each day. So there's no overwhelm here. And it's secondly, a day-by-day guide to start intuitive eating. There aren't 14 principles, there are 10. So let me explain how the days go. But there are 14 days in the workbook. So day 1, we're going to these first 4 days, we're going to be doing something else before the principles. Day 1, we talk about your vision. We need to figure out where we want to go. Where do you want to be? So we talk about that, and you discover that with yourself in the workbook. Day 2 through 4, so 3 days, we focus on something called the honeymoon stage. You could probably take a guess at what that is. But then you continue the honeymoon stage. Those 3 days are focused on really getting used to that. And then days 5 through 14 is we focus one principle on each day of those 10 principles of intuitive eating. Within each of those days, though, I make it applicable after you've learned what you needed to for the day to have an action step to apply, to have a related scripture verse, to have a journal prompt to it, and an inspiring quote that will also get you thinking. And it's a simple and beautiful design, and it's easy to read, and there are pictures for us visual learners and graphics, and also some pretty planners and journal pages to get you off on the right foot of your intuitive eating journey as well. So next, it's an instant digital download. There are 50 pages to this workbook. I've worked hard on it, and it's fast and easy, sent straight to your box once you purchase it, and you can get started right away, even today. Don't be in this bondage anymore with diet culture, being a slave to skinny. And lastly, I want to give you something as a bonus. I want to give you this extra scripture list if you want to dive into the scriptures even more. And I have handpicked these additional related scriptures that you can incorporate into your study. It's all about their scriptures about food, about your body image, about coming unto God instead of diet culture in the world. So God and Christ are essential in your healing, and learning more of Him will be imperative. So if you are ready, go to my latterdayintuitiveeating.com page, and you will find my workbook there. And it's today for the next month or so, it is going to be at $5 off. This will not be around forever. Right now it's available at $14. So really at just $1 per day, it's a great value, and it helps you stop being at war with yourself. It is a change that you need in your life. So if you're still not sure, I am busting out some awesome answers for you right now. For those of you who are sensibly minded or need a reality check, that like to have reality checks, these are going to be my frequently asked questions for you. So as intuitive eating is a question, people will say, what is it? I don't even know how to summarize it. And as an answer, intuitive eating is a dynamic mind-body integration of instinct and emotion and rational thought. And it is that inner journey of discovery that puts you front and center. So intuitive eating is based on those internal signals like hunger and fullness and satisfaction, rather than these external dieting rules or restrictions. And I think is a simple definition. It is relearning those instincts we once knew, especially as children. It's a powerful tool to help us also, and even most importantly, reject diet culture and recover a positive body image and have health every size. So I have 5 of these questions. That was my first one. My second one is that people will ask me is, where did the concept of intuitive eating come from? So as an answer to you, that would be intuitive eating was introduced in 1995 in the book Intuitive Eating by Evelyn Tribble and Elise Reich. It was a groundbreaking book in its field with over 500,000 copies sold and probably more by now. And the gravity of its success should not go unnoticed because there have been over 150 studies since its publication that have proven its effectiveness. It is divided into 10 doable principles, as we know and as I've been saying, and I go over that with you. And what I like to add here, though, that in my opinion is that it is the closest thing that I have found that is in line with the way that God wants us to eat. There's something beautiful in the way that our God has created our bodies and these different things that it tells us what we need, and also what just isn't settling with us, with our mind and the diet culture and things that we see. We could tell there's something off, but intuitive eating wraps that together, and as we couple it with the gospel, it's going to help you find the best way that God would want us to live and eat and conduct our health, so we can go on into life without having it be something that drags us down. Question number 3, it's a big one. Will I lose weight? And my answer is, you may or may not, and you'll have to be okay with that. The purpose from now on is for you to focus on your own authentic health and not on losing weight. I know that's hard to hear, but I think if you're here and watching this or listening to this, you are starting to grapple with that idea. And as I coach you through this workbook, I help you learn to accept your set point. And your set point is your ideal body weight. The body weight you have naturally without food restriction or deprivation or overexercising. And the set point is the body's internal system to maintain a healthy weight. It's a good thing. All in all, weight is not a focus at all, but we will still achieve health. And as a hint, you may never need to see your scale again after you have this workbook, or even just now, if you want to just go ahead and throw away your scale since you're listening to a podcast like this and you're interested in starting this. That is a good step. Just don't weigh yourself. Get rid of it. Don't even have it in your house as a temptation. Question number 4. Do you just eat all the junk food you want all day with intuitive eating? And my answer is no. Intuitive eating is so much more than that. And it is a popular misconception, and it is frequently something that deters people away from it. And as you let yourself explore all the foods that you restricted before, you will go through something called a honeymoon phase, as I was saying earlier. And it is a necessary part of the journey. And you will find that the other principles will help you understand how you feel when you eat all that junk food all day. I promise you will not eat that way forever, and it never lasts long with my clients either. My last question here is, people will say, I don't trust myself when given all that permission to eat whatever I want. And my answer to someone like that would be, there is hope. And you have to trust the process and trust yourself. And intuitive eating is a way of life that has been proven to work. So give it some faith, and it will help you find permanent peace and authentic health. But as a long story short, it is a paradox. Because when you finally allow yourself permission to make peace with all foods, you will find trust finally in yourself that you have always been looking for. So if you've waited long enough to be an intuitive eater, I invite you to go and purchase this workbook. And don't wait, because right now it's $5 off, and it'll go back up to $19 when I have it on the regular on my website. Anytime people can go get it. But right now, as I'm launching it, it's $5 off. So I hope you can get started today. I have the link to it below in the show notes, and share it with others. And it's just time for you to stop being at war with yourself. There's nothing to lose, and except for your bathroom skill, as I said. And if this workbook also just doesn't work for you, I have a 100% money back guarantee. I know you'll love it, but if it doesn't work out for you within 7 days, I will refund you for any reason. So it's really a no-brainer to give it a try. So thank you for listening today, and I hope you learned something along this whole process as well. It is just so much fun to talk about this and really be a warrior against diet culture. And I hope that you can become that warrior too, to become happier and to find yourself again. So reach out if you have any other questions about it. Go to my sales page to learn more at latterdayintuitiveeating.com. Hope you have a great day, my friends. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening, and I hope today's show filled your soul and gave you the direction you were searching for in your health, life, and relationship with God. I would love to stay connected. Subscribe to my podcast so that you can be the first to know when new episodes go live. And it would mean so much to me if you would rate and review this podcast just down below. Your words inspire me and give me that boost to create more inspiring content to share. I would love to meet you on social media. Find me on Instagram and Facebook. Also, if this show really inspired you today, take a screenshot to share it on social media and tag me, or click the share button to give it to someone else that would also benefit from these spirit-filled discussions. Let us all spread the good word of the gospel of Christ and help others in any way we can. Thank you again for listening today, and I look forward to connecting with you.